Hello, welcome to another edition of Crypto News with your host, Arthur. Hello everyone, I would like to bring to your attention something that sounds quite hilarious. Let's talk about nurdles. Nurdle, nurdle, nurdly nurdle, nurdle pooty pie nurdle, pooty nurdle. No, just nurdle. Okay, so it sounds funny, right? Let's talk about this. Nurdles, otherwise known as pre-productive pellets. Okay? Let me show you a picture of one of these nurdles right here. Oops, wrong one. So what's the fuss about these nurdles, huh? What is the fuss about these nurdles? Well, you're probably saying right now, what the heck is a nurdle? Well, I'm glad you asked. A nurdle, according to good old Wikipedia, plastic resin pellet pollution. Well, I guess that's a different page here, but basically, a nurdle is a petroleum product, a pre-production petroleum product that is basically used to make almost all plastic products. So it is the base of plastic products. These little nurdle thingies right here are the base of all plastic products. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these. They are the building blocks of all plastics, and companies buy them by the billions, right? So let's go into a little bit more. These plastic resin pellets are classified as primary source microplastics. They are intentionally produced at the size ranging from 1 to 5 millimeters in diameter. Approximately 60 billion pounds, 27 million tons of nurdles are manufactured annually in the United States. That's not including all around the world. Nurdles are a major contributor to marine debris. During the 3-month study of Orange County beaches, researchers found them to be the most common beach contaminant. I have found some of these around the beaches in Corpus Christi by the pounds. I literally picked up about 50 pounds of this stuff the other day. Some of them so small, they just look like little tiny, microscopic beads. Super, super small little beads. I'll show you some pictures of that later on towards the end of the video from my own findings of these. But nurdle, it is a funny word to describe, but yet it is such a big problem. So let's talk about how these tiny little pellets can be such a huge problem. Like many tiny objects, they are very difficult to pick up when spilled. This wouldn't be an issue, say, if it was a cup of rice in your kitchen, but remember, back when I said that companies are buying these by the billions, well, sometimes they spill them by the billions. According to an article, dated August 11th, 2018 by Dr. Abigail Entwistle from the Fauna and Flora International. She basically says that in 2016, estimates up to 53 billion nurdles are spilled each year from the land-based sources in the UK alone. That's equivalent to losing up to 88 million plastic bottles to sea over a course of a year. That is insane, and that is just from the UK. Okay, so let's continue here. On September 28, 2018, 49 tons, about 98,000 pounds were, let me see if I can find the article about this one. It does say this here. Okay, so in 2017, off the coast of South Africa, there was about 49 tons, 98,000 pounds that were knocked into the coast of the ocean. Okay, now some of you may think, well, that's just terrible. But that's not our problem. It's over in the UK, it's over in Africa. Well, here's the thing. Nothing in the ocean stays put. And not only are these nurdles not staying put, they are traveling thousands of miles insanely fast. One of the accounts from this spill in South Africa. One of these guys was watching how the spill had just happened, and within minutes, the currents were taking these out way faster than oil, way faster than they ever could thought. They mentioned, they have policies and procedures, SOPs, standard operating procedures for when there's a spill of oil, but they don't have an SOP for spilling of nurdle. They didn't know what to do. They had no idea how fast it was, and they had no idea how harmful these pellets were going to be. They saw these pellets just flying out of this port and going out into the sea in record numbers and at record speed. They had no idea they could travel so fast. They float on top of the ocean, on top of the water, and they travel really, really, really fast. Okay, so I have this Google. We have found some. Found some what we think is some of these pellets from South Africa, and I just want to give you a little visual here. Okay, so I've measured it. It's 9,340 miles. Now, granted, some of these could have come from the UK. These could have come from the coast of the United States. But from what I'm understanding, that there is an organization around in Texas trying to determine how bad this is. So they're doing a study, and one of the things they'd mentioned is this spill over in South Africa that 49 tons were spilled. And so I'm living down here in Corpus, and we found tons of these pellets that had been washed up. Like I said, about 50 pounds of them, of the real tiny ones, and probably a few ounces of bigger ones that we could pick up, and seed individually. But there was globs of these that I picked up in pounds, just scooping them up. And I have some pictures. I'm going to try to show that towards the end of the video. So just look how fast these travel. This last spill happened in South Africa, and not even a year later, we've got them in pounds of them showing up in Corpus. It's insane how many of them showed up and got through all this part of the water and somehow managed to come up here into Corpus from 9,000 miles away. It's insane how fast these things travel, and you can see that these ocean currents don't even go this way. Maybe they came from the UK. I could see how that could possibly get in here from the UK. Let's see, because they're up in here, right? So, how long would it? It doesn't even look like currents normally come in here. So I guess they come up here. So I guess the currents somehow got back in here and got up into here. But it does not take very long for this stuff to float all the way over here. And everyone is so sure that Fukushima isn't a big deal, and that surely these maps, Snopes says these maps couldn't be true. Well, I just, now that I've seen how these nurdles travel, I can definitely see how this pollution could get on the coast very quickly. Just a year later, I've got nurdles here from all the way on you can't even see it on this map, all the way on the south tip of Africa, and they made it over here. So I don't discount the pollution spreading all over the ocean very quickly from Fukushima. I really do think it is probably a bigger problem than Snopes thinks. So here's another ocean currents. I just do not know how they got all the way over here in Corpus from anywhere else. It's just amazing how quickly they got here. So let me talk a little bit about how bad these nurdles. Well, these plastic little pellets pose an enormous danger to marine life. They are readily available to be eaten. Other plastics may take years to become consumable size, but these little guys are just right. They are round and float, making them perfect to be mistaken for fish aids by both marine life and birds alike. They are killing off krill, because little tiny krill, are choking on these once they've broken down into smaller pieces. They're killing krill, which is one of the foundations of marine food chain. And but by no means least, they actually draw in toxins. These things absorb toxins. They are magnets for toxins. So they themselves bioaccumulate toxins, then are eaten at the bottom of the food chain, then all the way up to continue to bioaccumulate across the food chain, and then finally into the Homo sapiens, which we're going to be affected most by these in any large marine lives. These things don't go away either. They don't break down. They just become smaller, becoming easier and easier to be eaten by smaller and smaller marine life. Okay, this is devastating. Who knows to how many species, but all of them. Because I don't know how many species there are, but all of them are going to be devastated by these. Okay? Whether by the ton or by the pound, these pre-production packets, plastics, have the potential to be spilled every day and make it around to our waterways insanely fast. Everything is gonna die, people. Wake the fuck up. Please, wake up. God damn it. Excuse my language. Okay, I'm going to try to leave links to all these articles that I've got. I mean, this is kind of what it looks like, but I mean, way worse where I'm at. Way, way worse. It's awful. It's awful. I hate these things. Little poison pellets is what they are. And they call them nurdles. Nurdle. Because it's so cute. So cute to have to say nurdle. Surely a nurdle can't be bad. There's nurdly. Don't you like nerds? Don't you like nurdles? I love nerds. They're so tasty. They even look like a little nerd. Oh, nurdle. Pretty pie. Cutie pie. Oh, so cute. Okay, well, I hope you've liked this information. I'm going to continue to try to bring information like this to this channel. It wasn't what this channel was originally for, but I think it's very important to talk about this stuff. And, you know, no one cares, or not enough people do. So let's pretend like we do at least. Let's try to change this. Let's see what we can do about this, guys. Come on. All right. Hope you've liked this edition of Crypto News. Arthur, your host, signing off. Oh wait, I said I was going to give you all some pictures of these nurdles, so I'm going to try to include those at the very end. It may just not have any voice over it, just maybe a couple of pictures or something. All right, guys. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, nurdle. We end up with nurdles. Piles of broken down nurdles along with tons of other plastic, but lots and lots of nurdles. How did so many pounds of nurdles end up here in the Gulf of Mexico all the way from the tip of Africa? South Africa. How the heck did it get from the South African coast all the way in the Gulf of Mexico to the Mustang Island? I'm sorry, we're on Mustang Island, where we started on Padre Island and drove all the way up to Mustang Island. But look, they're just everywhere in this plastic.
There's an orange nurdle. Look, orange nurdle.
Is that nurdle?
Yeah. Looks like one.
Stained?
Yeah. Looks like it's stained.
Weird.
Nasty.
But, you know, there's pounds of this stuff out here. And I just think it's really weird that pounds of this stuff ended up all the way into the Gulf of Mexico on North Padre Island in concentration, and high concentration. I'm going to make a video about this, try to get it on my channel, Crypto News. I mean, see, you just put your finger out here and pick up these nurdles, not nurbies. I keep on thinking of Orby, but I'm sure these can't be that much worse than an Orby, but apparently they don't break down.
They just get smaller.
They just get smaller, and we can see that because they're in all kinds of weird different shapes. Anyway, I just wanted to bring your attention to this because it is awful how many pounds of plastic they float. So I'm sure fish are eating them. They're nice little fish foods. And we, in just a few minutes, have gathered many ounces of this stuff.